There's a
There's a
tower
tower at Liangzhou's gate.
They say
They
it's like
say
the
it's
moon.
like the moon.
Anyone up there
Anyone
can
up
see
there
their home.
can see their home.
That's a lie.
That's a lie. It's not the moon, and you can't see that far up there. How could everyone see their home from one place?
The home of the heart.
I asked my mother. She sang me a song instead. Said my father sang it to her when they met. Adults do that. Ask one thing, they answer something else. But my father said she was right. She told me it came from Chang'an's palace. It was in autumn, 100 years ago. The governor of Liangzhou brought musicians and dancers to Chang'an. They performed a song. The Xuanzong Emperor loved it, but the people loved it even more. They wrote their own words to it, all kinds of words. They said this song would last like the moon, long enough for everyone to find their way home through it. How can one song hold every home? How could everyone go home through it? My mother didn't know what to say. She thought for a while, then pointed at that tower. She said, "The song's like the tower. You can't see the whole world from up there, but everyone who climbs it looks toward their own home. Different directions, but they're all looking for the same thing. Something that nothing can stop. Not distance, not time, not even death. So, everyone's home is up there, on that tower. The song can't hold every home, but when you hear it, you think of yours.
Oh.
So long as the song keeps playing, home is right there with you. So everyone's home lives in that song."
Oh man. There's just something about this that keeps making me tear up.
Grandfather, I won't have this letter rewritten anymore. I'm on my way back to Chang'an now. I stopped at this inn. Strange place, strange people. A dancer who wasn't afraid to leave home. Leaving meant someday she'd return. A boy terrified to even say the word. Going home meant you'd already left. Siblings who brought family along, so no road could frighten them. A man afraid of every road, scared he'd lose the home in his heart. They all had different answers. Different from what Father said too. Father used to say you have to forget your old home before you can find a new one. But there was a pipa player with broken fingers. He said, home isn't a place. It's music. Whatever tune you play, that's your home. I don't know where home is yet. Don't know how to find the way back. But somehow, I think I found it. Maybe home isn't behind me. Maybe it's ahead. Maybe I'll wake up one day and it'll be right here, where I'm standing. I hated you. Tried so hard to understand you. Maybe I do now. It doesn't matter anymore. I'm coming to find you. And then we'll go home. Together.
Oh, so we should have done this quest first to get this as our first world reveal. Then they'll drop us as Mao Mei Feng. Oh no! Tragedy! We're already tearing up.
General Shang is dead. It's over. Run! Liang Zhou.
We can't go back!
Hey, you move.
Dad! Our house!
Stop crying. Our home is gone. There's a tower at Longzhou's gate. If you can't find me, I'll wait for you up there.
And then?
We'll go home.
Is he just walking to his death?
The moon hangs low, light shining down upon Liangzhou, home to masses, wide and grand, where half the food find people bad. Yay! My sweet boy. Our troop dances in spring. Night after night.
Bamboo is cut for the Bili. With a kucha first in play.
Swim across the ocean.
And we'll be home.
Hey, 棉道子. You know, don't you know? You should tell some nonsense too.
It's like the Titanic sinking. Oh, it's that song. Blissful Retreat. Yep, there it is. One's house in Japan, the other one in France. That was beautiful. I didn't prepare a handkerchief because I think it is just a stupid gacha game. Why would I cry? Thanks for the care package, Sen. Ugh. I don't think it was my imagination. I think they inserted a bit of blissful retreat in there. And when it all came together, and they were singing in different languages, it's so freaking cheesy. I don't know what about these quests. I think it's just so... Like, I'm trying to think about, like, why it resonated with me from beginning to end. Why I could feel myself in the story. Why exactly. But if we're just going by feelings, I just think it just, despite the... You know, the audio mixing being not very polished, the animations not being very polished. This is an action RPG, and this quest is not doesn't even feature us. And it has nothing to do with combat. It is just a walking simulator about this musician who met this ghost girl. But they all existed in their own way. I think it was just how... You know how there are some animes that are just so heartfelt and passionate? You know, we like to make fun of it sometimes, you know, right? Like a typical shonen anime, like, the power of friendship! And how in the finale they all come together and, you know, hold hands and all that. But there's a reason why they keep doing that in stories. Something really that'll never get old, especially if it's executed very well. But in this case, it is very simple. It's a very simple, simply plotted story. But it just felt so incredibly complex in terms of... No, it's just a very simple story. A very sentimental... There, I think the story so far, like in Hussey, the burlap sack and the pipa. I mean, I'm a very sentimental person. And I guess, yeah, some would say I'm quite empathetic. But... especially that sentiment is just so strongly featured in these stories that, you know, a lot of people aren't enjoying. I read that some people are not everyone's gonna enjoy these stories. That's the point. You can't please everyone. But for someone who is maybe very sentimental, who holds on to the past maybe, and who at once also may not be certain of where they really belong or if they really have a home, something that they call home. You know, it's like looking to these memories, these objects. It's the same as the burlap sack, the seed, the cotton, that pipa. I knew it, the pipa, and then the song. It's not just the pipa, it was also the song. And today, they exist in different countries, in 2 different museums. And the sentiment behind that these items had a journey. And that I don't care if this was totally fictional. They just saw a 5-string pipa and a song sheet named Liang Cho. And then the writer sat with it and thought up an emotional story that spoke of the journey of these objects. And it moved us through spaces that witnessed humanity and history. And I think it's just that. It's the thing I cried because of the beauty of it. And the way they capped it off, how he joined them. He joined them, essentially. It is bittersweet. He walked to his doom, essentially, but he wasn't alone. These people, again, in this dream-like reality, people coming and going, the dead and the living. It doesn't really matter whether you're dead or alive, but you all once lived. And to come together in this inn, which may have existed once upon a time, which perhaps that pipa was found somewhere, that bag of rice puffs was also discovered and unearthed. Like we can also, 1,000 years from now, when someone is possibly gonna, dig up my bones and find 2 cats with him, And what story was that? I guess I had a story. Not a very interesting one. But I lived. I'm living. So I like what they're doing with these series of quests so far. I don't think this is the one that people were complaining about. I think it's something after this, but I just couldn't hold it. At the end, I was just with him, And that girl was supposed to she was really ghost girl, immortal, divine intervention, whatever. Kuan Yin. Kuan Yin. Revered East Asian Bodhisattva of compassion, mercy, kindness. Regarded as the goddess of mercy. And everyone here deserved mercy, having lost so much through war, life itself getting in the way. The girl was never named. But it was like the goddess of mercy shepherding this man to the next life, shepherding him home. That's essentially what the story was in my reading. He was afraid. He was petrified. He couldn't speak about his past. He couldn't. He kept writing letters. Kept making excuses. But it was girl, Kuan Yin. It was all about putting his spirit to rest. You know, he may have already died on that tree when he was strung up. And Kuan Yin found him, shepherded his spirit to the inn, helped him come to terms with unresolved issues, and allowed him to return home. And I just found that it is very beautifully done. Each of them in the inn, spirits who once lived, people who once lived their own stories, coming together for a few days of enjoyment and festivity to give each other courage and strength as well, to find home and to not be afraid. To not be afraid of death, essentially. So that's why the girl was dressed like Kuan Yin with the veil. There's an art piece I'm looking at, iconography of Kuan Yin, and that dot and the flower. Yeah. And we know this is just a dream. World. I wonder what the comments say. GG. Mr. Agreeable. Lian Taozi had a master move, one that could help him deal with 99% of the world's matters. This master's move consisted of a single word. Fine. Father, fine. Stepmother, fine. Young brother, fine. Moving house, fine. Changing rooms, fine. Not speaking Han's language, also fine. While the room is burning all around you. The house cat causing troubles was truly annoying. Losing it was fine too. Clothes with holes, no one to mend them, just fine. One always needs to change clothes anyway. Having one less mung bean pastry in his bowl than his brother, Fine, he didn't like sweets anyway. Reading one less hour of books each day to pick up his brother from school was just wonderful. He didn't want to recite the bothersome Confucian text with the teacher anyway. Younger brother taking over the winter solstice stove offering and ancestral hall worship? Fine. Whoever wants to get up in the morning can get up. He certainly wasn't going to. After enough fines, his agreeableness became a daily routine, as regular as the sun rising. He had a rather beautiful old pipa given by his grandfather. He couldn't play complete melodies, but he always held it. Perhaps the tuning pegs were too tight or too old. When he held the pipa, it would sometimes creak and call to him, and he would respond, "Fine, fine." He and the pipa got along fine, so everyone was still fine. Father did once say it wasn't fine, that he stood without posture, was sloppy, indifferent, said fine to everything, not manly at all. He shrugged, replied fine, and turned away. Man, when his, like, again, when that bit of what reminded me of Blissful Retreat came in, when he was playing up on the rooftop, and then his grandfather joined him, and then, man, that's when I just couldn't hold back the tears. That was so beautifully done. Guan Yin granted him mercy and helped him pass on. And he was able to reunite. He was able to return home. Meet fellow spirits who were also afraid of returning home. Or not being able to return home. And Guan Yin was like dancing around them, right? And just... she was what kept things... she was so, girl Guan Yin incarnation was so... throughout the whole story, she was that bright ray, she was funny, she was silly, but whatever, if you look back at the things she said, there was just, you could tell that there was just like, she understood more than she was letting on. And when she started that message we read, right? Like, yeah, it is a lie about being able to see her home. That's nonsense. But the other side of that, and then a change of perspective, that change of perspective, that kind of nonsense of, you can't literally see your home from the tower. But in a way, that tower was meant to represent as a gateway to the afterlife. Which is why the guy was going through it and saw the wishes of the other people strung up there. And he joined them. He joined them through that tower, and it all led home. Regardless of your language, regardless of where you're from, regardless of who you are. It's nice to think that the death isn't the end. And that we'll be able to find each other again. So that was Lian Tao Zi. Said fine to everything, not manly at all. He shrugged, replied fine, turned away. Until one day, he returned home to find his pipa being loaded onto a merchant's cart. He rushed over, snatched back the pipa, his lips trembling, unable to utter a single word. His younger brother, however, clapped and cheered, while his stepmother urged him, saying he didn't play it anyway. It would just rot at home. Though they sold it, wouldn't getting some silver for it be better? His father, as ever, scowled with anger, slapped him across the face, told him to take a good look at himself now and to either put the pipa down or get out of his house. This is the only remembrance of his grandfather. The pipa, aggrieved, nestled in his embrace, creaking and complaining to him. Mr. Agreeable, good Mr. Agreeable, don't say that word. He looked up. The sunlight was blinding. Okay. And that's when he left. That's when he got out of the house. Is that what he meant by okay? This is no longer fine. Okay, I'm gonna leave. I will go find grandfather. And he made it home. They all made it home, chat. And they all had their own stories and little twists. I didn't really understand the little me. I think that was his father talking, the rice puff kid. But damn, the thing about with the siblings, the sister was dead, or the sister died before he did, and he was just trying to keep her alive through act and play. That is really depressing. But you know, they all that was the that inn was I just really think that that was it. That was the girl, the whole sandstorm, the girl, the act, in her own way, you know, the goddess, Kuan Yin, the girl. She was leading us to that, and I'm sure we're not the only one she's led to that inn, right? That was great. That was great. So thank you, girl. Silly scoundrel girl. For bringing us home. And that's it for today. That was a Tang 5-string pipa. Let's look at the artifacts. That was a Liangzhou melody. Is the other one out already? Check the scroll. Follow the carp and discover a tune. Good friends, travelers from afar, cast aside your sorrow. In your cup of wine, my moon still shines. Click in the scroll to check what the carp found. Like, Burlap Sack was sad and all that. I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed the ending. But like, from beginning to end in Liangzhou melody, honestly, I was really invested. It's like, again, another walking sim, but these two stories, there's Burlap Sack had some action in the end, but it is all just very personal stories of regular people, and they're just proving that they can tell these kinds of stories within this game. Some people may not enjoy it, but you know, there's a lot of combat content out there to be found still. I'm not even engaged with that. The world bosses, the lost tales, they're all there. But if we're just talking about the main quest, like, you would think that this would be side quest. That maybe this would be side quest. Or these would be the lost tales. But as structured, this is main quest, quote unquote. Here we go. So, what inspired this story? This Tang 5-string pipa, which is now housed at Shosoin, Japan. The 5-stringed rosewood pipa, inlaid with mother of pearl, is a beautifully crafted instrument. During the Sui and Tang dynasties, it spread to Korea and Japan. According to Japanese records in the Showa era, envoy Fujiwara no Sadatoshi received a pipa and music from Tang China. The tale of the Heike tells of envoy Ren Shopu gifted 3 pipas, one lost at sea to a sea dragon. The pipa at Shosoin, the sole surviving Tang-era 5-string pipa, symbolizes historic cultural exchange. And then they went with this one, the one that is lost at sea. And then they came up with a story. and music. Historic culture exchange. That's what we got this patch. Everyone singing in different languages on their journey home. And the Dunhuang ancient music, which is now housed in the National Library of France. Liangzhou melody is the earliest known ethnic folk tune from the Tang Dynasty, originally a local song from the Liangzhou region. Though the original piece is lost, the Dunhuang music score, the oldest surviving pipa notation in China, has helped reconstruct it. Widely popular in its time, the melody inspired over 100 poems by both commoners and poets. Blending musical and dance traditions of Han and Hu, Liangzhou melody reflects the dynamic cultural fusion of the Tang era. They just brought these two pieces together and they're like, yo, let's make a walking simulator quest in our action RPG wuxia game. And they made me cry. The bastards. Okay, so there's more. We're gonna continue next time. Beyond the lotus seat, how does a woman of such grace come to dwell in the silent temple? Yeah, I think people were saying like, oh, I like they were talking about these scroll quests, I think, and then I didn't want to spoil myself, so people were saying like, well, Liangzhou melody was okay, but then like people were not liking like the others or something. We're gonna see for ourselves, but Burlap Sack made me emotional at the end. Liangzhou melody just made me burst with tears, and it's just so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. Which also just keeps reminding me about how if they just polished things a bit more, you know, if they just did a bit more in their execution and presentation, that could have been even more beautiful. But it's also a testament to their strength of basically the content of the meaning that they were trying to portray. It still came across. The meaning, the sentiment, the themes, the emotions, it still came through. It doesn't have to be perfect, and it's also a good reminder to us, especially for people like me who are just always afraid of starting or always thinking that none of the stuff we think of will be interesting to anyone. Why bother? But you know, even though it was imperfect, it was still a story that resonated with me and with other people, and I still found enjoyment and happiness in it, and it felt cathartic at the end, and being able to cry those tears and just think about why we felt such. I still can't pinpoint precise reasons, but it made me feel. And it's my wish that we will all one day find home. What is home to you? I'll leave that with you, chat. I'm gonna go ahead and raid who do we raid? Wait. Let me just double check first. Just to continue next stream. So how does a woman of such grace, if we accept this, open the painting to start the story. Sorry, that's loud. If I accept the quest, oh shit, we jump right into it? Oh no, they teleport us here. Okay, they teleport us to the start. Leave quest. We're gonna continue these scroll quests next stream. But welcome to Liangzhou, everyone. The new quest title is Beyond the Lotus Seat. Paper Moon. The Buddha loves freedom, and freedom I do bring. Guan Yin leaves her lotus seat to find the blooms of spring. Guan Yin again, like girl, the immortal girl. She was just having fun, but that was actually Guan Yin incarnate, I believe. And now it's Guan Yin again, leaves her lotus seat to find the blooms of spring. Head to the Buddhist hall. That's our next quest. Chapter 3, A Lonely Moon Over... We're still on A Lonely Moon Over Chang'an. On Tuesday, tomorrow, we will continue Chapter 3 with Beyond the Lotus Seat. We're going to find out what's going on at the Buddhist hall. And what artifact will have inspired this story, we're going to find out. I'm excited, actually. I just love that... the addition of just showing those objects at the end, just like the cotton. For me, that also really just like caps it off. Cherry on top. Like a fictional story, but inspired by these objects which could tell us stories to no end. And it's just beautiful. I just love them wrapping it up like that and just adding that touch of not necessarily accuracy, but like that authenticity to it. And just reminding us that, you know, these places, you know, that there were people once and they deserve to be remembered.